Welcome to class. In today's class, we're going to be looking at a question that combines a knowledge in trigonometry and a knowledge of surds, as well as difference of two squares, which we know in algebra. If you're watching this video right now, just go and hit the subscribe button. It doesn't bite. It doesn't stress. Just click it, click the notification bell, and share. Namaste where be, Namaste then they call me. Let me continue. Alright, this question says, what is the value of 1 plus sine theta divided by 1 minus sine theta if theta equals to 45 degrees? That's when theta is equal to 45 degrees. So I'm given that theta is 45 degrees. Yes. And from special angles, 45 degrees is something worth noting there. And another thing which you should note, which is what we're evaluating, we are finding 1 plus sine theta all over 1 minus sine theta. The next thing, from the angle which we've been given, what is the value of sine theta? From special angles, sine theta is given as root 2 over 2. Actually, where this came from is the fact that if theta is 45 degrees, all right, sine theta is root 2 over 2. What I'm trying to say is that sine 45 degrees is root 2 over 2. 45 degrees is a special angle. 45 degrees is a special angle. So take note of that. Just so that I don't over repeat things, if I impute 45 degrees here, yes, so that gives me root 2 over 2. So this won't be necessary. Just in case you're still asking questions, sine 45 degrees, which we all know, firstly, is 1 over root 2 from its derivation. 1 over root 2, if I decide to rationalize by multiplying the numerator and the numerator by root 2, 1 times root 2 is root 2, and root 2 times root 2 is 2. So sine 45 degrees is 1 over 2 or 2 over, or root 2 over 2. Listen, it is more preferred to use root 2 over 2 because root 2 over 2 is a rationalized form of 1 over root 2. 1 over root 2 is not rationalized because I am having the square root sign in the denominator. And this root 2 over 2 is rationalized because the square root sign is not there in the denominator. So this is a better form to represent that. So let's proceed. So we are going to be making use of root 2 over 2 in this. So from there, I will now say this is 1 plus sine 45 degrees all over 1 minus sine 45 degrees. This gives me 1 plus root 2 over 2 all divided by, this 2 is just for root 2, all divided by 1 minus root 2 all over 2. We take note. From there, I have that this is the same thing as 1 plus root 2 over 2 divided by 1 minus root 2 all over 2. The next thing I'm going to do right now is that these two terms, I'm going to make them to have the same denominator, a like denominator. How am I going to do that? 1 plus root 2 over 2, all right, the denominator here is 1. If I find the LCM of 1 and 2, that gives me 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2 times 1 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 times root 2, that is plus root 2. So 1 plus root 2 over 2 is something as saying 2 plus root 2 all over 2. So everything you're seeing there from the explanation I've just made would give me 2 plus root 2 all over 2. Of course, you know what this is going to be. You know what this is going to be. This is going to be, all right, 2 minus root 2 all over 2. 2 minus root 2 all over 2. So from there, I will, of course, you can see that what changed is just the sign. So that's why we are going to have that as our answer. So from there, I am going to apply a very popular rule, changing that division sign to multiplication sign. So that will become that this is now equals to 2 plus root 2 all over 2 times when this changes to multiplication, I'm going to take the reciprocal of what follows. I'm going to take the reciprocal of the term after that. The reciprocal of 2 minus root 2 all over 2 will give me 2 all over 2 minus root 2. If you check what is happening there now, 2 down cancels 2 up. So what I have left is 2 plus root 2 all over 2 minus root 2. All right. So at this point, don't panic, especially for the fact that you have gotten to a reasonable extent and you can't find your answer in the options. Don't panic. The next thing we're going to do is that we're going to rationalize this. Yes, we're going to rationalize that. Rationalizing 2 plus root 2 all over 2 minus root 2. Rationalizing this means that I don't want to see the square root sign in the denominator. How am I going to do that? So that will become 2 plus root 2 all over 2 minus root 2. I will take the conjugate of what is in the denominator. All right, take the conjugate. Question: what is the conjugate of what the term I'm having at the denominator? The conjugate of 2 plus root 2 is 2 minus root 2. I know you like what you're seeing. Hit that subscribe button now. 2 minus root 2, the conjugate is the same thing as 2 plus root 2. So I will multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So I'll multiply by 2 plus root 2, denominator the same thing, 2 plus root 2. So you can see that that is the conjugate of this and this is the conjugate of this. Now from there, the mistake some of my students make is that they will just say 2 plus 2 times root 2. No, what you should notice there is that multiplication becomes 2 plus root 2. Yes, this is the term on its own into 2 plus root 2 and all over 2 minus root 2 into 2 plus root 2. So you can see what is happening there right now. Yes, that is a more preferred way to represent that. When you are multiplying the denominator, one thing you should note is that whatever you have in the denominator is a difference of 2 squares. It's a difference of 2 squares. What do I mean by that? I multiplied the denominator by its conjugate. The result is difference of 2 squares. That always happens. What do I mean by difference of 2 squares? Difference of 2 squares, that a square minus b square. Yes, from difference of 2 squares. All right, let's bring it down a bit. A square minus b square is equals to a plus b into a minus b, and vice versa. That means that a plus b into a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. um, you don't have to have a problem because this can also be written as a minus b into a plus b. So you can see what's happening there. It's the same thing. It's just that this is multiplication. It is commutative. So a minus b can come first and a plus b after. So it is still the same thing. So this is just by the way as a reminder that you note while we do this. This is always a very quick way and method, especially when you are dealing with questions where your accuracy is not just what is expected, but your speed is a priority. You need to apply this quickly. So from there, I can now see that I'm going to apply that in my denominator. But in your numerator, you are going to do that expansion normally in the numerator. Yes, because so from there, I can now see that denominator first. It's not compulsory to start from the denominator. This plus this. So my a is like 2 and my b is root 2. So I will translate it to a squared minus b squared. My a is like 2 and my b is like root 2. So if I expand this, what I'm going to have will be 2 squared minus root 2 or square. I hope you're getting that now. Now my numerator, I will expand it the normal way. That's using my binomial expansion. 2 goes to, yes, and then root 2 goes to 2 and root 2 again goes to root 2. A more conventional way of representing that is 2 into 2 plus root 2 close the bracket plus root 2 into 2 plus root 2. All right, so this is binomial expansion. You can apply the same thing in the denominator, but it's just a quick way applying difference of two squares to give you that. If you apply binomial expansion in the denominator, it will still give you the same thing. So this gives me 4 plus 2 root 2 plus 2 root 2. Of course, root 2 times 2 is 2 root 2, and root 2 times root 2 is 2. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. In the denominator, I will have 2 square is 4 minus root 2 all square will give me 2. Root 2 all square is the same thing as root 2 times root 2. Alright, so from there, I'll have 4 plus 2, that will give me 6 plus root 2 is 4 root 2. So from there, all divided by 2. So this gives me, if I simplify it, 6 all over 2 plus 4 root 2 all over 2. So if I proceed from there, 6 over 2 is 3, all right? And 4 root 2 divided by 2, that gives me 2 root 2. So the correct answer or option is A. Yes, that is my answer. 3 plus 2 root 2. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this very interesting question. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. Now, master, where did they call me? Subscribe. See you in my next class.